We're back for another season of Hong Kong Direct, your place for news, views, interviews, previews, special guests as well. Everything to do with Hong Kong racing as this season returns to Sha Tin on Sunday. We've got lots to look forward to again. Many of those great champions return again for another season. I'm Jeune. Great to have your company for our first episode of Hong Kong Direct for the new season. Please say I'm joined by one of the driving forces behind the show as well, in Ed Sadler. Ed, how's your summer been?
It's been different, Andrew, but it's still been enjoyable. Obviously, normally through the summer months, we're lucky enough to get to go away, but due to the travel restrictions at the moment, wasn't able to do so, but enjoyed the best that Hong Kong has to offer over the summer months. It's been reported by a number of my colleagues, our colleagues in the office, Andrew, that I look like I've been in a good paddock. So hopefully, like some of the horses that are racing, I'll trim up as the season goes on.
All right, your first up run then. What have we got to look forward to, though, for the season? We just saw some of the big winners from last season, many of those returning again. But what are your highlights maybe ahead of the season return on Sunday?
I think as far as horses go, the horse I'm most looking forward to seeing is Golden 60. What he was able to do in the 4-year-old series and in general throughout last season was fantastic. But his big wins were in the 4-year-old series against his own age group. To see how he goes against the likes of Waikuku and Beauty Generation is going to be fascinating. Jockeys-wise, I'm looking forward to having Alexis Badel in Hong Kong, and of course that battle renewed between Zach Purton and Joe Moreira. And trainers, well, having David Hayes back has been a big talking point for the last 12 months. The time for talk is nearly done, Andrew. His horses will be on the track on the weekend.
They certainly will be indeed. We'll actually hear from Alexis Badel a little bit later on and talk about the jockeys' ranks as well. But let's start off with the trainers and the return of David Hayes, a previous 2-time champion trainer here in Hong Kong. I'm sure he's excited about his return on Sunday.
It's been a long wait. It was announced, mid-spring last year. So I've had plenty of time to prepare. And it's really nice to come back and be amongst all my peers that I was training against 15 years ago. And Prue and I have settled in really well. We're really enjoying ourselves. Look, at the early stages are pretty good. I've been doing sort of a lot of base work on him at the moment. He's surprisingly a lazy horse, like a lot of good horses. Fields of Omar was lazy, Better Loosen Up was lazy. So I think that's probably a good sign. And he's a rat in the box, but outside the box he's an absolute gentleman. Look, there's a chance he could run in his usual kick-off race, the race at the end of September, if he's trialling well. He's an older boy. You know, we all carry a bit more weight as older boys. He might take a run, but the idea is to peak him in December. We've got about 19 local horses that we can run a bit in the early part of the season. Some of them are at their mark and others look like they've got a bit of room to move, so hopefully a few of them will be early winners for me. But having 52 new horses coming into the yard in one season, it's a little bit of an imbalanced stable. So I really think probably the stable will hit its straps in the new year, maybe Chinese New Year around that time. But I won't be panicking if I'm not training a lot of winners in the first section of the season. Look, I had a great run when I was here last time. I'd probably every trainer wants to win more big races. So hopefully he can have some horses can stand up on International Day. That's probably the pinnacle for me. And obviously, locally, everyone wants to win the Derby. So if you can be competitive in International Day and the Derbies, that's probably on my bucket list.
Self-led in front, the mare winds up, Elegant Fashion goes to the lead, it's historical, the filly runs away, Elegant Fashion goes to self-led, draws a length on her, out wide of Beverly Green staying on, but Mosse wins with the filly Elegant Fashion by nearly a length.
Arrived here, settled in, eating all his feed, got a wonderful nature, lovely clean action, clean-legged horse. So you would think if he can keep going, he's probably going to be one of the main contenders from the stable.
It's the Summit. Dawn Intello's got a run. Here goes Mishrif with Victor Ladorum. Mishrif suddenly quickens up, and it's Mishrif for Eretz Mendithamal, who comes away to win it from in second position. The Summit.
Yeah, so he's got brilliant European form, runner-up in the French Guineas and the Derby. Didn't have a lot of luck in the Derby and still ran on to run second. So it'll be interesting measuring what form's stronger this year, the European form or the Southern form. Looking through recent history, there's not a lot between them. This is a great neutral area where they meet. So the Summit arrives in a couple of weeks.
We look forward to him arriving as well. But Ed, as David touched on, there's so many new horses in the stable this season and so many big names as well. They come with pretty big reputations, some of these.
They do indeed. In Shadow Hero and the Summit, he's got ready-made Derby horses for this season. We know that that's the race that everyone here in Hong Kong wants to win. But when you look at his stable, by my count, Andrew, he's got 59 horses on the books at the moment. 35 of those are yet to race here in Hong Kong. So it is going to take time for David to really get up and running, but there's a number of up-and-coming horses, a number of exciting horses there. Master Montaro from Australia, undefeated, and looks really exciting as well too. So I think it might take a bit of time, but there's reason to be optimistic for David Hayes.
There was talk of him replacing John Moore. John, who retired at the end of last season, he's already had a winner in actual fact with his first runner in Australia. Does he step straight into those shoes? He's talked having a slow start, but there's still a lot of expectation, I think, around the Hayes yard.
For sure, and particularly as David did so well in the first time he was here in that 1995 to 2005 time period. I don't think John Moore is someone that can be directly replace what he's done in Hong Kong, what he did in Hong Kong. Will be very hard for anyone to achieve ever again over such a long period of time. But in someone like David Hayes, they've got a terrific person to come in, a great ambassador for Hong Kong racing and someone that will bring some high quality horses to race over here.
Yeah, and I did see Poised to Strike was one of the horses in that little package as well. Have a look at his recent trial. I think he looks a nice horse as well. What about the overall standings then as far as the trainers' title race is concerned? Ricky Yu, with his win last year, I actually joked with him at the Champions Awards ceremony at the back end of last season. Winning the first one's the easy part, Ricky. It's doing it again. That's the difficult part.
To do it again in consecutive years as well, given that a lot of horses, I think, get to their level and the handicap ratings, does make it really tricky. I think Ricky's got some nice horses there, the likes of Good Luck Friend. He looks like a horse that can go further up in the ratings, but I think it will be tough for him to do it again. I think John Size and Frankie Law just perhaps slightly below past seasons by their expectations and their standards last season, but I think they'll bounce back. So they're two guys that I think will go higher up in the trainer standings. I think Ricky can do well, but I'd have a Size or Law winner of the Trainers' Championship for my pick this year. Yeah,
John Size has really thrown a bit of weight from the stable behind this opening day of the season as well. The most runners he's had, I think, in nearly a decade. We'll talk more about his three runners in the feature race coming up in part number 2. So we head to the break, though. Joe Moreira, he's got a decent book of horses to look forward to for the new season. He's earmarked one of them in particular he's looking forward to renewing his association with.
No doubt I'm looking forward to ride Waikuku, horse that has won a Group 1 race last season and some other races, has done very well at the internationals, and I'm quite confident that this term he's going to be able to produce an even better form based on how good he is and how good he's been he's been to us.
Purton says go on Beauty Generation, 250 out from home, but here comes Waikuku. He's storming down the middle of the track. He's only half a length away. Kaying Star Ratton. Waikuku's moved up on the outside of Beauty Generation. The champ's trying to fight, but Waikuku stamps his authority to win the Stewards Cup.
He's very professional, very kind, very relaxed kind of a horse, and his acceleration at the races, it's very impressive, you know. And if he's able to produce what he really got best, I think he's going to be able to pinch some Group 1 races down the season.